Good, happy Thursday morning, October 1st, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. First up, we begin with your COVID-19 update. 34 new COVID-19 cases, no new hospitalizations announced in New Hampshire. New Hampshire health officials announced 34 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Wednesday. New Hampshire COVID-19 pandemic information, graphs, case data. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that right now for all of you. There are 8,266 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 7,229,723 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 439 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 738 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 206,905 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And now let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 47. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 2073. Now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases in orange, new hospitalization, and in the red are the deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple, total current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalization. And let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases, in the orange, total hospitalizations, red deaths, and blue recovered. Let's take a look at this chart here. Each group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. And let's take a look at this chart here. Infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalization. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, difficult breathing, chills, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. New Hampshire town clerks see surge in absentee ballot requests. Voters can request absentee ballot up to day before election. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
The fairs may be canceled, but Mainly Tubs' huge annual fair sale is back and bigger than ever, with hundreds of hot tubs in.
We have just been very, very busy. I had to appoint another assistant town clerk to work with Gloria and I, my deputy town clerk, so we can get all these ballots processed in a timely manner.
It's a similar story statewide. In Manchester, more than 9,400 absentee ballots have already been requested. In Nashua, more than 8,000. And in Litchfield, this year, 800 absentee ballots have already gone out, compared to 235 in 2016.
And the request is still coming in. Today we had probably 15 to 20.
Voters can fill out the absentee ballot in their cars on the spot, or hand them in on the day of the election, or request them via mail and mail them in. The sooner the better, according to town clerks. Some mail-in September primary ballots came in too late to be counted. So what happens then?
Those ballots get marked in the system as rejected, and it is made a note that it came in after the election.
And then are they destroyed?
We are supposed to keep all of our election materials for a certain amount of time before anything can get destroyed.
Most frequently asked question in Bedford?
And as the Secretary of State has indicated that due to COVID, it falls under the disability category. So you are to sign the right side of the affidavit envelope with your signature and print your name. We don't compare signatures. We just want to make sure you are who you say you are.
Absentee ballots can be requested up till 5 p.m. the day before the election. In Bedford, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Judge denies bail request for man accused of killing church elder. Case may be connected to later shooting at church. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
The fairs may be canceled, but Mainly Tub's huge annual fair sale is back and bigger than ever, with hundreds of hot tubs in stock.
Brandon Castiglione is charged with second-degree murder for shooting Luis Garcia, an elder at the New England Pentecostal Ministries in Pelham, where Castiglione worshipped. During a bail hearing, the lead investigator for the case testified that Castiglione made only one statement after his arrest, and that was to his grandmother and sister.
They reported when he was being escorted out of the residence, he made a statement to the two women, pray for me. Pray for me? Yes.
This incident may be linked to another shooting at a wedding at the same church a short time later. In that case, prosecutors say two people were shot by Dale Holloway, who is Garcia's stepson. Castiglione's father was the groom at that wedding shooting. Prosecutors point to disagreements that Brandon Castiglione and Garcia had over interpretations in the Bible as a possible motive for this crime. Defense attorneys questioned the way that evidence was gathered in this case. They also suggested that there was no motive and say police jumped to conclusions.
Your Honor, it's clear that in this particular case, the police did not investigate any other suspects. They believed that Mr. Castiglione committed this murder, and that's where they stopped.
And you have Mr. Garcia, who has been shot at the base of the skull from behind. No sign of forced entry, nobody else in the home. The gun that does it is the gun that's got the defendant's prints all over it.
The judge denied the bail request. A trial is expected next year. In Brentwood, Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire drug deaths in 2019 fell to lowest level since 2014. Help available during COVID-19 pandemic. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
The fairs may be canceled, but Mainly Tub's huge annual fair sale is back and bigger than ever, with hundreds of hot tubs.
The final report from the state medical examiner records 415 drug overdose deaths last year, the fewest since 2014. The majority of drug deaths from opioids, 92% ruled accidental, 6% suicide, 2% undetermined. 288 men died and 127 women, with most overdose deaths in the 30 to 39 age group. Those on the front lines were hoping the number of lives lost would fall below 400 last year. It did not.
The opioid crisis doesn't go away. It's very difficult to control. And I think if it's left unchecked or not has as much attention paid to it, that we'll see those numbers continue to creep back up.
Chris Staywas from American Medical Response says so far this year, August had the highest number of overdose deaths. First responders want to send out the message. Help is available during the pandemic.
But help is definitely still available. The Safe Station program in Manchester continues to operate and see people on a daily basis. And you can always call 211 24/7 anywhere in New Hampshire, and you'll get referred to a treatment program in a very short period of time. We're going to continue to give it as much effort as we possibly can to save as many lives as we can.
Jean Mackin, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Seabrook man charged with impersonating officer allegedly pulled over a man. Police say man had badges and BB guns. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Cherise LeClaire.
The fairs may be canceled, but Mainly Tub's huge annual fair sale is back and bigger than ever, with hundreds of hot tubs in.
The man was pulled over on Mill Road on the night of September 19th. Police say the man with the badge was not one of their own.
When they arrived, they observed Mr. Stewart what appeared to be in the middle of a motor vehicle stop.
61-year-old Lamont Stewart is accused of following a driver that night for 10 to 15 minutes with a spotlight on him. When the man pulled over to let Stewart go by, police say Stewart stopped him and then proceeded to mimic an officer. Police say he was wearing a high-visibility vest that police would normally wear, had two holstered weapons that were later determined to be BB guns, and a spotlight.
He also had in his possession badges that gave off the appearance that he was a police officer. The officers subsequently, after their investigation, placed him into custody.
Hampton police say other drivers helped lead to the arrest.
What happened in this case was multiple people had observed this behavior that looked out of place, and they contacted us.
Police say if you ever find yourself in a similar situation and you're not sure if it's a police officer pulling you over,
ask the person to follow you to a either well-lit area, a populated area, or to the police department.
You can also call the police department and verify.
It's not safe for the general public or for people who are pretending to be police officers. This is inherently a dangerous job.
Stewart was released and can't own any guns or ammunition. Meantime, if you had a similar experience in the past few weeks, police are asking you to call them. In Hampton, I'm Cherise LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast. Have a great rest of your morning and a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on tonight for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.